working will ensure you get to that stage. So one of the things that I pride myself for is that you don't need to have billions to be a philanthropist, right? Yeah. I did it, and I found the secret to success. It's giving.
I think the challenge with some of the art forms are they're quite expensive and exhausting. Yeah. When you talk about like video mapping, I mean, if you're a video mapping artist in Uganda, where will you get a job? Yeah. He's gonna give you a gig, you know. So you are in it for a big.
That's why I was saying the new Africa France is open.
So
for this
I think,
year.
and also if you're a video artist here, you really. I mean, it will be really hard for you to get a gig in France or Europe because they are at a whole different level when it comes to mind, when it comes to skills, when it comes to software, because all these things work with software. Yeah. Every time there's a new software, there's a new, it's like...
My parents are very supportive. Yeah. They are very, very supportive. I actually thank God for that because we have had fellow teammates where they have to hide, like you've said, hide or facilitate themselves for anything and in everything about basketball. Yeah. But my parents are very supportive. When it came to the time of, I think I'll make it on team, what. The passport, they made sure I get it on time before even anything, before it was even confirmed. The COVID, they made sure I had the shots like on time. Yeah. If it is the shoes that I need, I'm not going to hustle. They're going to give me that money and I buy the shoes. Basically, even if I say I have training tomorrow, at this time, they'll give me the transport and everything. They're very supportive, that is for sure. Yeah, so I don't know how to hustle when it comes to basketball. Yeah.
The ice has been broken and we are going to play a very small video right there. There's a video up there, Desmond, if you can play it in the studio, and that video is called Uganda. Alright? And we want to start from that footing of the Uganda. When somebody asks a question, says Uganda in recent times has become with the stigma of greed. Greed runs in our family, runs in our corporations, runs in our lives, and everything we do is greed. Can you play that video again from Mark Cairo, teaching us something, and he asked questions? That's my honest opinion, his honest opinion. What would be your honest opinion? The video, please. Taken away love from our families. People don't love each other because we're always fighting and quarreling, and a lot going on. So Patricia Cahill is in the studio together with the Diwato Chom, and we're going to be discussing something very particular and very specific to family. And because of that stigma of greed, Patricia,
yes,
is Mark right? Yes and no. I would say yes and no.
Support your...
My argument?
Yes.
There's a sector of people who are not really greedy and are trying very much to even it out. And then there are the greedy ones, who just temple the ones who are not greedy at all. Like they see you and they look at you and like, yeah, you're just naive, you don't know what you want. So the percentages will not be the same. I would say 95 to the greedy ones. Yeah, we are 95. I would say we are all greedy in a way. And then there's a 5 that is still greedy but doesn't use its greed to get all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to show?
Yeah.
Is Mark right that we are infested with the stigma of greed?
Eddie, I think every human being, our natural evolved, and what we used to think was stuff that a man should do. I know of many families that are really headed by women. I could be a product of one of those families. So defining the issue of position of... Is
that intentional or circumstantial?
Well, mine could be circumstantial. My dad passed on when I was 9 years, so really.
So that is
my mom had no choice.
Yeah.
But even I know families where, yeah, husband and wife are there, but for all intents and purposes, the lines have become blurred. You can't easily tell who the father or who the mother is, because the things of provision that was traditionally say reserved for men, they are now, I mean, the Kahils are working every day. What will she be doing with her money? She will provide for the family.
Our money is
or at least contribute.
Our money is our money.
Or contribute the family.
Your money is ours.
So anyway, for me, the point I'm making is that I think as society progresses, it's now difficult to define family values from the lens of roles.
We have good enough, thank you for us, Bazuku, we have gone to school. So we are educated.
UPE, yeah?
We are UPE, we are UCE, we are, and we even want UUC. So we are going to school, right? Same level. So we have given birth to children, same level. We got the same immunization shots. You know what I mean? Same level. So we are
Even
in a
for
home.
COVID.
Even for COVID, we are getting the same.
Are you sure even the woman in Katapirit has gotten the same?
No, not the woman. You see that I gave you a description of the woman I'm speaking about.
Yes.
They went to school, they went to UCE, now we went to UEE, even that one we went, you see, those are the levels, those are the ones I'm talking about.
Okay.
So same level. Our position is at the same level. There's no position in home. Actually, your child has an idea that you don't know that they will speak about. So there's no position. You have to remove the position.
I think I'll first speak as a lawyer. Because, so the law defines how we organize ourselves and influences every aspect of our lives, including marriage, and clearly defines, rights that each party to a marriage has. And our constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, is very clear. If I'm not mistaken, it should be Article 33 or something like that. Talks about men and women have equal rights before, during, and after marriage.
By the way, we have the constitution here.
Yeah, we don't want to go
so
into
we don't
that.
bring the constitution. I may not one here for you.
I may not have competition. But I think for me the point is that at the global level, at the national level, we have a framework that, at least in principle, provides for equality of men and women in all aspects of society, including but not limited to marriage. So I'll start by saying that whereas what Hassan has picked from the field could be the reality that manifests in our communities, it's actually not what...
Break just after Patricia. We can't go for a break before Patricia gives us. That would be an abomination. Already we would have decided the position itself.
that men come first.
That men come first, yes. But we're talking about the position of women in our families. This topic is quite very complex, to say the least. Patricia.
When you say the man goes and buys land and makes a decision to buy land without even consulting his wife, you said actually you didn't say man, you said husband and wife. You see, when husband and wife, they become what?
One.
So why make a decision alone when you're supposed to be one?
Because I'm the one who's working hard.
And the man left his family and went and joined with his wife and they became?
One.
So why is the decision of the other only a half? Because that decision is a half.
I'm the provider of the family.
let's go back. Man left home and went and joined with his wife, and they became one. That means every decision that's supposed to be made has about here. Equity. Give me the same level of opportunity until I tell you, you know what, Eddie, on that land thing, I don't know things to do with land, but I think you should consult someone who knows. Me, I don't know. That means you gave me an opportunity to express myself in what you're going to purchase. But you come home and say, I bought here. I even finished building. Hey.
Yeah, because Elao and Ochoma friends, they own the law firm together. So Elao decided to go to Mavera Forest
and have your homes together.
Ours is a business, not a family. That's what you should understand.
I'm saying that.
But now you put the land for the family. You see? So
I'm the head. You said I lead, that's why I'm led.
You've not led. You've head.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're going to go for a small break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about love. But before we talk about love, we want to conclude on that position of women in our families. And Patricia is very nicely giving us this context, but there's a catch-20.
And just get it,
It is actually wrong. Very wrong.
Okay.
You can't be preaching on the other side that we are one, and then be on the same side who is not being honest about the things. You know, that particular hide streams from being honest. The honesty in a relationship, when you started seeing each other, how did you groom your honesty? How did you groom each other to be free with each other to the extent that now you have children, you have grown into understanding the maturity of the relationship has grown to maybe even having grandchildren. How did you nurture that to that extent? Because the first thing that, I'll give an example. My great-grandmother used to say, if the first one you see the first time, the first thing that you install in them is what they will go with about you. So you have to give someone the first impression that they can build on, becomes the foundation.
Forward language. And so I'm a target worker, so I know this.
That is the other thing also. Character. Who are you? You go back to who are you?
Me or you? Man.
Me, the woman you're saying that is going to dump you.
By the way, even the men now
don't know who they are.
No, they strategize.
They strategize like that kind of
Carry has potential.
I have potential. I am going there. I know. So, who are you? Because even when you strategize on that, it always backfires. We've seen them backfire. All of them backfire. Down because you had a motive, it didn't work through. So now your plan is all down. You didn't have another plan. You see. But if your plan was a straightforward plan, you know, madam, I'm here for 2 months, so just I go. You see. But madam, I'm here to the end, to the grave. So we are going to build this together until the grave. That plan.
By and large, I associate with Patricia's insights. Oh, that's the name of your company.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me Kalango insights.
Eddie, I think my personal take really is that families, just like nations, are built on shared values, or should be built on shared values. And it's those shared values that sort of influence our aspirations as a family, as a couple, and where sort of you fail to agree or set minimum standards. That's when people start being shady, like trying to look for every opportunity to pick from one source, pick from one side and the other side, lives there. But if, for example, you know that, okay, what's our target for the year? Or we want to go back to school, or postgraduate training, want to buy property or things like that.
It's going to have. How much money are we going to save? How much money are we going? You see, those are the questions that need to be asked there.
But Patricia, you need to know that some of those questions you are saying we should ask and involve and indulge ourselves into can be a very scary path for men. When you start those things, where are we going to build her? This one here.
Then you're not ready. Then you're not ready. You're not ready for that.
Because some people are not married up to now. They're still dating 7 years, 10 years.
They are not ready for the responsibilities that are supposed to be put in place, all the structures, all the functionalities that need to be worked in a family. Because if you're not ready, then those questions will scare you. You will run because in your mind you have never even thought about them. When they ask you, where are we going to build? What is the aspiration line of the house you want? House.
So
but you have an aspiration.
At least a dream.
At least have a dream. Like you see a house in Greenland, I want that kind of house.
But you are throwing a stone on some glass house. Some guy watching this show is also
Which car are we going to buy? Are we ever going to have a car?
Yes.
The guy is looking at me. I was thinking of having a bicycle. Okay, a bicycle, but we can also have a car, right? We will think about it. Let's begin with a bicycle. You see, conversation starts like that, and then you ask him to.
We realize we really need to have this conversation. Is it when you are now 5 years into the marriage, 10 years into the marriage, or is it too late to even have the conversation?
No, I think there's no definite timeline. Each case could be dependent on its own facts and situation. But I think what's not debatable is that if your relationship with your marriage or your family is to progress to a level better than where you're at, you need to have the conversation. Yeah, so you could have it with grandkids, as she said. It's just that then you're taking off at a way later stage when you're about to.
But they say men start to become serious at 45.
I don't know which men.
That's what they said, and they said for our brothers from Musoga is about 40, about 50, 60. So
we will not perpetrate those sentiments here. I think this is a more serious show. Yeah. We can't be quoting those.
But jokes aside, yes.
Yeah, but so for me, of course, the earlier the better. But again, it's never too late. Once you realize that a mistake happened 20 years ago when we met, we should have had this conversation. You can always have it and try to redeem what's left.
Move together, walk, buy land together, do all these things, make children, raise children, do these things together. That's love.
That is love.
The fruit of love are the children.
Thank you. Okay. What is love to you?
Pardon?
What is love? What is love? Because you see, yes. What I'm trying to show you is love actually differs. So what is love?
Again, I don't think there's a standard answer for, except for the dictionary meaning. I don't think there's in real life, I don't think there's a standard definition of love. But I think when you meet a person, that you like, that you're comfortable with, you think you can, share space together, you can dream together, have pursue ideas together. Yeah, that could be love.
You see, it differs in very many ways. So when we're actually talking about what to celebrate continuously, we're supposed to break down what love means to us to celebrate that. Some people actually may tell you, I love that person, but I don't want to be near them. So I will celebrate from them there, that side. Like, you be those.
No, but we're talking about love in our families, not love anywhere. Eh? We're talking about love in our families.
Love in our families, where people have two homes.
Hey, you mean love is what?
I'm saying where people
guys are
very different location for celebration.
We're going to go for a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about love must be celebrated and love demands constant celebration. Stay right there, we'll be right back. This is a family talk show.
Because you guys, if you say.
You missed that conversation, please go back to it. That's what we're saying here, so that you can continue to have love in your family flourishing. All right, although we're having a problem right now about the issue of love in the studio. Dr. Jemima Okwe is saying it's never too late to make your marriage better, only except when you give up on it or quit. Yes, so again, it's re-emphasizing our point here that please have that conversation and make sure it's always happening. I think Asa and Sekajolo, these people are representing you really well, and Pastor Joshua Mugabe. Joeria Natayuna said, thank you, Iduato Chom. It's never too late to redeem what is left out of that marriage.
True.
Wow. All right, I want to go to Aldo Moro, who says, Ochom, he's playing safe. Man is too academic. Let loose on the Bukedia man. Okay, and I see.
We should invite Aldo here one day. We should invite him one day here.
Yes, and please, Aldo Moro, the one has already given you an invitation to come here on this fire place. And Francis Birunji says that enjoying the show, interesting guest with strong insights right there. Thank you very much, guys, for sharing with us your love and kisses and
what happened Why are we like this? Why is the house so quiet when it's supposed to be loud? Why is it so loud when it's supposed to be quiet? You find a nurturing position that needs to grow it back again.
Okay.
One of the things that, as I said, do you remember actually the foundations of your relationship? Because most people tend to forget them.
Why do they tend to forget them?
Because then they were not real foundation points. They were just, there's a time clock of, at 35, I'm supposed to get married. So 35 is now done. I'm 36, I'm married. 38, yeah, I'm married. There's a nice young man here. So there's no real, people didn't stand any grounds of at this particular time we are going to be doing this. After 1 year, we're celebrating this. After 2 years, we're celebrating that. On your birthday, we do this. On your mom's birthdays, we do that. On the children's birthday, they are not set things. As I said earlier, it is supposed to lead, not head. So you're supposed to lead. Where is the leading ground that says your family is set up like this? My great-grandmother said something also interesting, rest in peace. She used to, who is leading? Is it TV that is leading? Is it your boys at the bar that are leading? Is it your workplace that is leading? Yeah. Huh? Are you leading? Yeah. And it's not just for men, it's also for women. Who is leading in your home? Is it the maid? Are the children leading you? Is your work leading? Because if it is not leading, it will show. You will not have those memories of, it's his birthday. You remember after 4 days, it was his birthday. And then what? There's no celebration of love because it was not a constant in your mind.
But what happened when Diwato Chom, for example, was never celebrated? He grew up as a man, or Killer grew up as a man, and the concept of birthday celebration did not exist because the father was busy doing something else. So I never celebrated, for example. That's a fact for me, really.
There is something.
The man was hiding from political pressure.
There is something that you celebrate. There is something that you
organizing other birthdays for other people.
There is something that you have in you that you celebrate.
Okay.
That is what you put on the table. Remember, trust and openness. I don't celebrate birthdays, but to me this is more important. I rather celebrate this.
Okay.
That is what you put out and we celebrate that day. What other thing interests you? I love volleyball. Okay, how do I support you in volleyball? Because then I'll be celebrating your passion. The other thing would be your dress code. What do you like? I like putting my ties and stuff. Then I'll look out for nice bow ties and celebrating your style. I like going to the gym. Then I'll get you barbells because I'm celebrating your health. You get? So you're supposed to understand a person to that depth that their celebration may not blow parties, put up all these, call people to come in. You're celebrating. No.
No standard way around it. It's just that you need to understand yourselves, understand your partner, and see what works for them, what doesn't work for them. Yeah, and things will keep rolling.
How do we keep its active demand running, fire burning? Fire burning, because you can burn out, you know. For example, if desire is taking her out every day is okay.
It's not every day.
Yes, or every other day. I'm just giving an example. Because some people, I had a man who wrote today when he says, this topic is really good because, man, some church where my wife goes to say there must be celebration in our family. So my wife believes that the celebration every day we're out. So it says now our budget is disorganized because we are doing this. It says I'm tired of these things. I don't know how I want to write to the pastor and say you've caused problems in my home than good because now it's disorganizing everything. So there's also a chance of
Can I just correct that one?
Yes.
The pastor didn't disorganize the home.
The sister took it another level.
No.
Yes.
The leader of the home. Hey!
We can't be responsible for all
You see, the guy is complaining because he has failed to lead. He needs to get back to his team and tell the teammate, you know what, our budget is going down on this celebration. Instead of complaining to you, why isn't he going to his team? But go to his team and
but you see now when you want to jump as also there. This thing that guy, here's a job. We are blamed for everything that happened. He has a model of celebrating. Thank you very much, Aldo Moro. I hope men can pick from you.
No, not only men, men and women.
Can pick from you.
Yeah.
I want Patricia to read the next one. Birunji, please the next one so we can answer comment from
Francesca Bilunji says, parents have a role to play. Children watch how we manage these issues and can carry it over to their families. When a child sees mommy and daddy bringing kavera from work or contributing and working together, they learn truth. If they see mommy hustling alone, paying fees, buying food, clothes, VD, paying bills at dinner, there will be men that sit back and wait for their wives to struggle alone, which risks breaking their marriages. Thank you, my dear. And kids watch how we do things and we know how we manage. And no, kids watch how we do things and can know how we manage finances. This is very true, actually. Very true, Belunji. That is one of the things that is distorting our community and society at the moment. There was a break somewhere. I believe there was a break where there were no leads. Me, I removed heads to leads. There were no leads in homes, and moms took over. When moms took over, the children, the sons did not leave also when the heads left. So the sons and the moms stayed together, and the daughters were all together. But there's a lady. This is a lady who is feminine in build. She's not masculine in build. What she knows is feminine. So she impacted the feminine, almost everything,
genes on
the boy child.
Yeah.
The boy grew up seeing mommy doing all these things. And then there's an issue that she did not find mentors or men mentors to pour into her sons. So the sons learned everything from mommy. So when the son gets to get married, finds a chick who is hustler like Kahil. Kahil can do everything like Kahil will do everything. Yet Kahil comes from a home where there's mommy, daddy, and daddy does this, mommy.
In every family, the man should. Some men are so laid back. And you know, like, when the wife takes charge of things, things work. Yeah. We should harness that. Other than forcing this guy to be at the echelon of things.
Very well.
When probably
very much.
It doesn't have like a monopoly. Maybe it's not his calling.
Yes.
I hope Pastor will forgive me for my views on this.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think we should just give.
They always say that the greatest asset you have in every organization is human beings. So leadership starts with you and how you interact with the people around you, even in your home. The truth is, if you're not able to lead your home very well, you can't lead anything else.
Wow.
So leadership starts with you. And if you set that example, others will follow you.
I want to know, and the CEO of Baywood Continental, Baywood Group, and all these things going on. How do you manage?
You got to stay focused, and you have to have your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Eye on the ball, always. So what's that ball to succeed?
You understand? It's very difficult for me to go in town, you understand, or in Nakasero. You understand? People ask a lot of money to brand your stuff, to put your work. Yeah. That's why I'm mainly working in Kawempe. And it's very difficult for me to move from Kawempe and go to Masaka. You understand? That's a big challenge.
But I think it is. I think you can move to Masaka.
Yeah, I can.
Graffiti is also about resistance, resilience, and
yes.
what is it about? It's also advocacy. Like when you're doing a mask, the Corona campaign.
Yeah.
Corona is not only for people in Kampala to know about.
It
can also work in Masaka. It can work in Toro. But I think the challenge is, how do you find those spaces?
Yes.
I mean, graffiti, like there's a mural here at Aldeons. I don't know whether you saw it.
And on that, people ask me money to paint my work there.
Yes.
I don't just go there, just putting it, you understand?
To be during those old days, so we can compete and actually qualify for the World Cup. The World Cup qualifiers are divided into two windows. The first window will happen in Benguela, Angola, between the 26th to the 28th of November, where we shall play those teams, Nigeria, Cape Verde, and Mali. Then we shall have a second window next year in July, the first week of July. The venue is yet to be named. After that, the top 3 teams in the group qualify to the next round. And then at that level, they will again make other groups where the top team in each group will then qualify for the World Cup. And as I said, we believe that we can make this dream happen and qualify for the World Cup for the first time in history.
Sort of slam dunk basketball talk, a show where we discuss, analyze, give you international games. Remember we had Afro-Basket qualifiers during this time of the pandemic. Then we had the Afro-Basket down in Kigali, and during that time there was a draw for the World Cup qualifiers. So this is going to be our second time to play the qualifiers. Remember in 2019 we were involved in the World Cup qualifiers. So we were drawn in Group C. We have Nigeria, we have Mali, we have Cape Verde. These are teams that we've been playing, very respectable on the continent. And as Silverbacks, as Uganda, we are happy to be involved in international games like these. I can tell you, back in the day, we never even dream of playing such games.
Being at such a stage.
Yeah, so us being in these games and being on international television, to let those players those out there, and that gives a chance to the other players to come in and try and fill up those positions.
Try and fill up those positions.
Yeah.
Emma, to the players that were going to miss, and was the talk of Brandon Davis coming back, what is your take on that?
Well, let me first say, when all of us at that Ish wasn't going to make it, I believe that a lot of hearts were broken.
Well, social media was filled with Facebook comments of our chances dropping by like 60%.
Yeah.
Because Ishmael Wainwright is not going to be here, and it's been very pivotal to the Silverbacks.
Yeah, so him not exactly being dropped, is just he didn't have time with his busy schedule in the NBA with the Phoenix Suns. And Brandon Davis has played for us before. Very good player, was very instrumental for us in 2019, and I believe that he brings a lot of experience to the team. So I know that having Ish not being there it creates a gap, but then again, like Coach said, it gives an opportunity for other players. I mean, we have 30 players on the roster, so we would never know how other players would fit in if we don't give them a chance. So Brandon Davis coming back, it's a good opportunity. His inclusion in the national team is going to be worked upon. He has a good coaching staff around him. He has good players around him, international players also, who can actually give him, the skills and know what he has, and to use it, to make himself a better player, and also to fit right into the national team. So obviously, size is a big issue, but there are certain things you can do to overcome such a barrier.
Coach, there's always been a question of the criteria that is based on when selecting the national team players. What is that criteria?
Well, before I talk about that, I just want to first address that issue of size.
Yes.
Definitely basketball size is important, but basketball has really changed. We've seen teams that play small and still go big. Player, we have Ox who is 6'5", but believe me, Ox can take on any guy. Okay, because of his strength and his firepower in him. So if you look at our team, we have pieces that can try and mark the bigger players. But we try as much as possible to look at our strength as a country.
As the Silverbacks.
Yeah, as Silverbacks, and I think that's what has been really driving us.
Well,
we've not been the biggest team in any competition that we played,
But believe me,
we're no longer considered
we've
underdogs.
competed so well, yeah. Yeah.
It is Slam Dunk Basketball. Felix Eopal is my name. I'm with Coach Mandy Jiruni, and we're talking the Silverbacks and how they're preparing for the World Cup qualifiers. We'll return after this short break, and feel free to send your comments, your questions. We'll be reading them out when we come back after this short break.
First and foremost, thank you very much for hosting me. I'm really, really humbled, and I'm blessed to be here. Yeah, surely. Talking about basketball, personally, my journey of basketball was challenging.
Welcome back to the second part of Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. We are here with Coach Mandy Jiruni, the coach of the Silverbacks and also the head coach of the City Oilers, the record 7-time champions. Coach, before we went for the break, we were discussing the question of the criteria that is taken and undergone in selecting the players who make the final cut on the Silverbacks.
Okay. We have a team. Technical team, we sit together and look at all these players. Obviously, as a coach, you watch most of these players, and also look at your team and see what you want to be as a team, what you want from a player. So all those come into play. If I'm looking at these last 2 years, I think this is the time where, as a Silverbacks, we've played so many international games, and it's the same time we've not been playing any active basketball the last 2 years. So it has been quite tricky getting players. But to answer that, it's mainly about how you're playing for your club, statistics, and what we need, So us playing these international games, it really helps us to know which kind of players, which positions that we are lacking, and of course that plays in a lot in trying to get players onto the roster. But at the same time, we also want to help our players back home to get on the team and feel that they are part of the team. And if you see, we always have more players at home than our foreign-based players. We normally call in maybe 5 or 6 players.
Local-based players.
Yeah, but the local-based players are normally 7 or even 8 sometimes. So I think that plays in, a lot with getting players.
Brings in a blend of both of them coming in together.
Yes.
I have very interesting questions in my inbox. One of them is one that I've been discussing for quite a while. So please help address some of the comments as we go on.
Well, I don't think it's true that you have, and I really, don't want to see it that because I'm a City Oilers coach and management is City Oilers, it's just purely on statistics.
In summary, you're saying it's purely based on merit.
It's definitely based on merit. I can give you an example of Caesar, for instance. I think that time Caesar was the top scorer in the league.
Yeah. Yes.
Was top scorer in the league, and he had a couple of good, seasons. Again, I mean, he approached us, and we, talked to him about, joining City Oilers. And at that time, I think we had lost a few players who had left the team, and we needed to fill up that position. And Caesar,
happened to be the opportune time.
Yeah, and again, because he joined City Oilers, and but we can't really, take away what he had done. Just because he's joining City Oilers,
True. And you can select different players, as the time goes, and these players can feed into the national team. So it's something that FUBA itself should look into to make the coaches' work way easier.
Well, FUBA has so many things on its plate. First of all, we have not had an AGM, then the league starting up next year again, afresh. I believe Hudson, the General Secretary, has too much to chew on his plate. Remember, we still don't have a CEO who was, which job was advertised. So many things yet coming up. To Coach Monday, please tell us about Wamala Emmanuel. I saw a name that we have not been seeing on the Silverback team.
I can tell you that there are so many players that you don't know that are on the team. But this time around, we called Emmanuel Wamala. He's a player that we've been following, the last 2 years. Again, national team training sessions are going to start on the 12th of this month. We're going to be training at the Africa Bible University, and we expect both our local players and our foreign-based players. They'll all be coming in here, and our preparations are going to be held here. So again, as press, I think we'll be, happy to see you guys come and cover up our sessions. Okay. So with that, I'm just going to name you just the 14 players who are going to be involved this time. Obviously, the rules can only allow us 12. So these 14 players are going to compete for the 12 slots. Okay. The players who will be coming from here, we have Jimmy Enabu, who is our captain. We have Tony Drileba, Ivan Mwezi. This is his first time to be on the team. Just shows how much he's been working in, and we believe he has worked really hard to deserve a call-up on the team. We have Fayed Bale. I think this is his second time. Last time we came short because of different reasons. But this time around we want to be in BAL. We believe BAL is one of the it's going to be one of the biggest leagues outside NBA. So we want to be part of that. And we believe that as City Oilers, we belong there, and in the long run, it's also going to help, Ugandan basketball.
To Emma, we had a discussion here still on Slam Dunk basketball. Remember when prior to City Oilers going for that first round, when the news reports of the additions to the team and how there was that discussion of Ugandan sport media is not being patriotic enough. It is doing the work of the opposition for them. This time around, what do you think should be done? Should they release the names of the new additions?
Well, I'm not sure there are any new additions from the first round of the BAL qualifiers, unless coach has something up his sleeve that we don't know about.
Feel free, Coach Monday, to surprise the viewers out there.
On the team, there's a structure I think they use, and everyone who has played for City Oil has really fitted well into that team. Kudos to the coaching staff, and it's going to be really exciting to see who they bring next. Okay, first round we had Okonkwo from Nigeria, very good addition. So it's exciting to always see what next. What are we bringing for the second window? And it has reached a point whereby City Oilers now is almost like the Ugandan team. Okay, because they are the ones in BAL. So it's not like, oh, I'm a power supporter, I won't support City Oil because they're in BAL. No, once it comes to BAL, all of us become what? City Oil supporters. It's now Uganda. So I believe that we're all excited to see the new additions that are going to...
Having the league reduced and it being made shorter. What is your take on that? Then Emma will also tell me his take on that. If Falcons would also want the league to be shortened.
I don't know.
Teams, their suggestion is having teams play more games during the week, so that the league is, let's say, ended within a period of like 3 months. What is your take as a coach of City Oilers?
Well, I mean, if you're a fan, if you're a player, you want to play the whole year. Because if you play the league in 3 months and then what happens after that, you know, and a lot of these players, you know, earn their living because they are playing. Some teams might stop, you know, paying salary to these players because the league is not, you know, happening. Is it because of the finances? That's why they want to make the league short. Well, personally, you know, I think our league is okay the way it is. I would love to see even more games. To tell you the truth, you know, we're only playing 22 games in a season. Yeah. That is very, very little, you know. We need to
be shortened.
No, just like Coach said, having a short league, you know, from all perspectives, the fun.
Well, I'm looking at our national ladies team and also our clubs. Our national team, the ladies, you know, they've not been involved in any games in the last, what, 3 years maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe we're coming to 3 years.
Yeah, about 3 years. Part of it is, part of the problem is because of FIBA. FIBA doesn't have so many, you know, ladies international competition. Yeah. They only play qualifiers and Afrobasket, and that's it. So keeping our ladies national team has been a very big, you know, challenge because we have very few games. But if you look at our clubs, our ladies teams, I think when we have played tournaments around the region, we've been, you know, the best in the last couple of years. Our ladies teams have been really doing so well. We have so many young girls out there who are really talented and play. I think, you know, maybe as a region, we really have to come up with, you know, tournaments for these girls.
You know, to get them more exposure.
Yeah, to play. It's been unfortunate that, you know, COVID came in, and in the last 2 years, again, our ladies have not been playing a lot of basketball. And if the girls are not playing, you know, there's so many things that can happen in that period of time. But, you know, as a whole, our girls basketball is quite good. I think I would comfortably say that we have the best teams 5 years later. Yeah. But when we came in immediately, you know, we won the league, and we changed our mind that we don't want to think 5 years later.
5 years.
We want to start now. And because of that mindset that we want to be playing at the top level in Africa, that means you have to do so many things back here at home to be at that level. So we are very ambitious. Of course, to play at international level there, you have to be a powerhouse at home. Yeah. That's why we have to win for us to be able to play international, because those are the rules. If you're playing ball, you have to be a champion.
You have to be the champion
at home. Yeah, if you're not, then you can't play ball. Yeah. So we want to keep winning at home because we want to be in ball. Yeah. People say, "Oh, we win because we have money and all that." I really don't think it's about money. I can tell you that there are some clubs that play players better than, you know, City Oilers. We lose, you know, so you have to have reasons why, and they have to be good reasons. So that, you know, keeps us in check. Okay, for us to try and be at a high level, play at
to teams have to be more accountable, not just on court, but even off court?
Everything that you do on court, everything that you do as a coach, you know, as even management themselves. Sometimes we sit with management and we ask them, we are lacking this, but you know, all departments have to elevate and work together. Yeah.
As we wind up, perhaps you can tell the viewers out there when the team will be going to camp, when the foreign best players for the World Cup qualifiers, and also UC University were champions. We forgot to mention that at the start of the show, the Africa 3-on-3 University Championship. Have a blessed weekend. Till next time.
First and foremost, thank you very much for hosting me. I'm really, really humbled, and I'm blessed to be here. Yeah, surely. Talking about basketball, personally, my journey of basketball started from far, very, very far. That was in high school, and in a situation whereby we did not have enough exposure. We didn't have coaches. We didn't have the facilities like we do have them right now. Although I'm saying this like there's so many years ago, there are not so many. That was about, I began knowing basketball in 2007. That was at KPC when I was in P7 vacation. That is end of 2007 actually, that's KPC North. That's when I first touched the basketball. Then 2008 when I joined Namibyango in Senior 1. I saw people playing. Actually, the people whom I saw there playing and inspired me were Sally of, he played for Chambogo Warriors. Do you remember him?
The left-handed.
Yes. And Omongin. Omongin, last I saw him playing for City Oil. Those were the guys whom I found in Namibyango. I was in Senior 1. These guys were playing basketball at another level. And we would actually just go there to watch them. You know, for us by that time, they couldn't allow you to step on the basketball court that those guys are on, because they were senior 6s, you are a senior 1, you just, the best you can do is watch. Other than that, you don't step there. But nonetheless, that's where I started, beautifully, or I would say lucky for me, that when I was playing with those guys, once in a while when they could see me about midday 1, when the sun is very hot, when they are still...
Eye on the ball. Eye on the ball, always. What's that ball to succeed? Make a success, not minding the challenges.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emperor Chris Bewood Ibe. Why the youth?
They're the future. I don't care, but they're the future. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. But you know what? That step does not guarantee you are going to reach to that destination. Continuous working will ensure you get to that stage. So one of the things that I pride myself for is that you don't need to have billions to be a philanthropist, right? I did it, and I found the secret to success. It's giving.
Engineered in the heart of the Pearl, one face, 4 perspective, keeping a hip, urban, dynamic community. And of course, dibs on the constantly evolving African scene. This is XXL Season 4 with yours truly, Eddie Okila.
Where else in the world, you know, does someone say the word Rolex and you think it's not about a watch? Here, everyone can afford a Rolex. I mean, think about it.
Yes.
Which other country?
We actually eat Rolex.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, we don't have to give up, 10 years of salary.
Yes.
We just walk downtown and we have a Rolex right there. We eat time.
Yes. Okay. Does that explain the reason why we waste a lot of time? We never respect time when we're called for a meeting or for work or for something, anything?
I think we don't respect time.
Yes.
I think we actually are one of those few places in the world where we're able to reverse entropy. We take disorder and bring it back together. That's what's amazing about Uganda. We take what no one seems to understand and we make it beautiful and amazing. We look at issues and problems and we see solutions.
That's why there are more entrepreneurs than anyone else in the world in Uganda. That's why Uganda is famous for being the most active nation in the world.
Okay. But if that's the case, then Pete, then why is it that it's not reflected in our economy?
I think it is very much reflected.
You think so?
I think so.
Do you agree with Pete that this thing is very much reflected in our economy? I mean, you can just get on our Twitter page and whatever, and then let's have a conversation with Pete right now.
Ugandan is one who espouses all.
They will tell you, no, everything is not going okay, everything is messed up. They will tell you all sorts of story. But you have an amazing perspective about Uganda. Do you think this is heavily inculcated in our DNA today?
I think when we go back, we all went to a little school somewhere in Uganda. You know, as a little kid, probably age 5, and we sang the national anthem. You know, that anthem is Uganda written all over it. Whoever put that anthem together actually painted the picture of every Uganda from the heart outwards, and how the world looks into every Ugandan and into Uganda as it is. And we all know that anthem. We've sung it so many times, we can sing it in our sleep. And when we walk around, we walk that anthem. We live that anthem. If we may be unhappy, it's because our anthem tells us we will always hope for a brighter tomorrow. We're always trying to make things even better.
So do you think we understand that fact? This deep thing you're talking about?
I think we do. Because where else do you find smiles as they are at the source of the night with no oxygen, and heat it up and bake it? And then a certain gas comes out. That gas is a blend of hydrogen and methane.
Yes.
So all we do is we create that environment artificially. And so we get the methane and the hydrogen. We clean it, pipe it through an engine, power it up, run a dynamo, electricity is produced, and the electricity can change lives.
And you have a project like this up in the north, and how is this project changing the lives of people in the north?
At the moment we're working with thousands of farmers, and we give them access to clean, renewable energy to power their farms, to add value to their crops, so that they can sell value-added crops and not be in this vicious cycle of poverty. And now they do better. When our farmers see maize at 200 shillings, they don't worry, because they can sell processed maize at 1,200 shillings.
Yes.
And they're happy.
And I have just learned that you are also into farming. So Pete, from growing up, we had Uganda transport buses. I think it was called UTC, Uganda Transport Corporation, right? And we used to have buses. So this thing disappeared along the way, and you returned to Uganda, and somehow we had Dream Shuttle. You had a dream along the line. Before I know it, you were in agriculture. Before I know it, you are now in farming. So, I mean, just take me through why the sudden change and too much movement.
I don't see it as change. I see it as also import so much food. But we definitely are not using all the land we have.
Okay.
And if we sold whatever we produce as a finished product, our economy would grow easily, 10 to 50 times over, just by simply, adding a bit of value addition. So why don't we just do that? I think we can, and I think we have the expertise in our universities. I think we have, the conditions in our government. We have we have the AGOAs, we have the COMESAs, we have all that, and we have the will amongst the people. It's just a little bit of inspiration, I guess, to realize, as Ms. Odeka said earlier, that just be the best that you can be and make Uganda the best that it can be.
Okay.
Yes.
The Ugandans understand who they are, and what would you make out of that? If you were to summarize and package Uganda, what would be the message? That's it?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes.
And you wear coats of many colors like Joseph, and you're a poet at the same time. Pete is going to sell Uganda using poetry right now. Let's dig into it. Let's see.
Okay, I'll do it quickly, and there's something I scribbled down as I was waiting.
Yes.
In the alleyway.
Okay.
And I'd say, my dear cherubim and seraphim, who grace this blessed, most beautiful land, we all live to love more and more with each passing moment. A stunning country it is, with the loveliest of climes, Scenery so amazing and a delightful melange of flora and fauna, taking you on an enchanted journey from Simba's pride lines full of sheer butter in Kidepo, past the Nile waters roaring across Murchison Falls ferociously, but fluttering like all the ornithological wonders of Queen Elizabeth National Park, and swinging like Tarzan through Entebbe Botanical Gardens onto Budongo and Bwindi from Lake Victoria's tropical islands to riding horses between zebras at Lake Mburo. It's incredible. But what's most amazing about this place is who can't but be...
The hitter is engineer Reverend Pete Nyeko, and Pete will be right back on the show to talk about the issue of power and turning around the agricultural industry in Uganda to make everybody rich. This is XXL Season 4, and we have come to the end of the show with you and with Peter and with everybody else. We want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show. We're looking forward to catching up with you next week, same time, same place. Keep it XXL Season 4. It's a wrap. God bless you. God bless Uganda.
Final games coming to an end. We're waiting for the playoffs, and from nothing at the beginning of the year to a lot of basketball towards the end of the year. Today, with me to discuss is the coach of Livingstone Basketball Club, based in Makerere University, Mr. Eric Matovu. Very welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Eti.
Yeah, it's very good to have you here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I know that coaches have a very busy schedule, standing in the sun from morning and all these things, but thank you for coming through.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Eti.
Every time we call coaches, I know that sometimes you have busy basketball, right? Is there any other job you do, or it's 100%?
I think it is 100%. A lot of learning. When you start to coach. And I believe basically that it is you, the coach, who learns more, even the players that you're coaching, more than the players that you're coaching. So it really humbled me, and it made me become a man. I usually tell my players that, if you want to be the greatest player out there, you've got to behave like a servant. If you don't have humility with you, and you don't have the discipline to push you, you cannot go any far. Those are the things that will push you. I tell them, I usually use one phrase, that you see all these accolades, the degrees, the profiles that you have in life, they will take you somewhere, but can they sustain you there? I don't think so. So it is your character at the end of the day that is going to sustain you in that place. I always tell them, if I call for a training session and I tell you be in at 3 or 4, why don't you be there earlier, 15 minutes to time or 30 minutes to time,
Yeah.
and the coach finds you when you are good to go. You are ready. You've put in some work already.
Yeah.
That shows that you know what you want in life.
Coaches are not that good. We're not that experienced. Take an example of the Silverbacks. We had to go outside Uganda to get 2 coaches to come and help with the national team. Okay, so what's your comment on coach development? Okay, we'll talk about player development later, but coach development in Uganda, where are we lacking, and what do we need to do to make better coaches actually in the country, so that we can grow this game of basketball?
I think we are somewhere right now. I think we have very many coaches that are really experienced. I'll be honest with you, and I believe we do even have coaches that have reached the level 3 of FIBA, not per se on level 1 or level 2. They have a lot of experience, but it's just because of the structures that have been in place. The structures have not were not on our side to be there and exposed and get these certifications and all the things. But I can assure you, Mr. Eti, that we have very many coaches that are really doing a very tremendous job out there. Very many coaches. When you look at the time they're putting in, the resources that are available on the table for them to execute whatever they're doing, I think we are somewhere. I'm just curious if we had the same resources like people abroad, I think would be far. People are so passionate about this game. People love this game. They literally do.
Or the ladies just don't want to get into coaching because of certain issues here and there. Some people say that ladies do not want to get into coaching because the emotional side takes the best of them.
Because they're driven by intuition all the time, that's what we're saying. But the truth be told, I'll be honest with you, I think the ladies have been laid back so much. They've been given chances. I mean, even National Council of Sports calls for very many ladies courses, and they've been given chances even to improve their administration skills and all the things. Template that we are on also eating from. It's just because, and we have very many who have played the game, but you see most of them the moment they go into other institutions like marriages and all that, they tend to be caught up so much, and they won't have the freedom that we have. Most of us, we can juggle here and there, but the ladies most of the time realize that, you know what, there is so much on their plate, they have to do this, they have to do that. That's why most of the time they don't evolve in the game like how we are evolving in the game.
Okay, interesting.
But given more resources, given more structures, more encouragement, and from the federation, you see the federation is also trying, it's doing its part. So I think we'll have the numbers. We'll do have the numbers, absolutely.
Speaking of the federation, I actually wanted to jump there next. For the whole year actually on this show, okay, we've been trying to analyze the different problems that the federation has. Okay, and one of the biggest...
Me, I keep saying I have a foot amongst the millennials. And I understand the traditionalists. There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand. Remember Prince? Prince.
They always say that the greatest asset you have in every organization is human beings. So leadership you have in every organization is human beings. So leadership starts with you and how you interact with the people around you. You know, even in your home. The truth is, if you're not able to lead your home very well, you can't lead anything else.
Wow.
So leadership starts with you.
This is an academic question.
Yes.
So let me just be frank with it. So we have literature. Literature can easily simply be defined as the creative expressions of a given culture, of a given people. And it is normally done through writing, through singing, through speaking. Now, literature is that creative expression that focuses on the written word. As you hear the word itself, literature, literate, meaning to write. Now, we are going to restrict ourselves to three things. So we talked about prose, we talked about poetry, we talked about creative expression. That is more elaborate. It is more elaborate. So if you're reading a novel, if you're reading a short story, if you're reading a biography, that falls within an essay.
The events to resume in 2022 as January draws nearby on 24th. The government has talked about it, and we want to know from Jude. Jude, welcome back to the program. We want to just, when we went to a break, somebody has sent a message here. It says, Jude, thank you very much for advocating and saying that we need to, streamline our business going forward, which I agree with you. But then sometimes when you streamline, URA just looks at tax. Sometimes they even charge you tax when you have not earned. How do we go about it when you have not earned and URA is, pumping you with a lot of requests for you to pay tax? And this would say, for example, in 2022, no audiovisual company was working. We did not work for a whole year. But when I calculate the amount of tax invoice, that the amount of request to pay tax from URA is amounting to over 40 million shillings in the year 22. Are these guys not seeing that we're not working, or there's something wrong? Can Jude clarify how was he able to deal with that? Or they're using the Judes as a benchmark for everyone in the because Jude said he was working. Yes.
I think that goes down to just keeping books of accounts. Yeah. Just like any business,